I recently picked up Ninjala for the Nintendo Switch for free, of course, and it's a blast for the most part. Like, the gameplay and the art style are truly great. Though there are a few problems and things that I think should have been altered for the launch. Now, sure, this is a free-to-play game, so they're probably going to add free updates over time, of course, and those are probably going to fix most of the things I'm talking about here, but not all of them. One of those, of course, is a menu should have been a lobby or a hub. Now, this is kind of interesting because in this sense, I'm going to compare it to something like ARMS or Splatoon, because ARMS had a menu, but that worked because it's more of a fighting game, or is a fighting game, but Splatoon was a shooter and it had this full world, so it made sense to have a hub and a lobby, and I think that's Ninjala too. I'm not really comparing the two in a huge sense because they're not really that comparable except for art style and world design. And that world design is key when talking about a hub or a lobby, and I think that could add a lot of kind of the value to the package and make it feel more substantial than just a few menus. And the reason why it's not really that similar to Splatoon except for art style and world design is because they're completely different gameplay. See, when somebody says they're similar, that's fine, but when you say you have Splatoon and then there's no reason to play Ninjala, that is somewhat absurd because they're two completely different gameplay packages. What if somebody likes beat-em-ups and fighting games, but doesn't like shooters? Even though Splatoon is a unique shooter, of course. They're both great games, but they're both different in the most important aspect, and that is actually playing the game. So this next thing is, of course, something that they're going to fix over time, but I think they should have more modes. I think one with more players and a battle royale and have it elimination based could be great, and they could add so many cool modes. I'm already thinking about cool stuff they could do, like tournaments or stuff. It would be really cool. But that's, of course, going to be fixed, hopefully, in later updates, so that one's not really entirely important at this moment in time, though we'll see in the coming months and eventually maybe even a year. I do not like the drip feeding method of the story. It is an episodic form, and the overall story isn't the best. I mean, it's cheap enough, because it's like normally $10 for the first episode, but it's like $4.50. So that's a great if somebody just wants like, like a little sliver of the story, and I like that option a lot, but part of me feels like they should offer two modes for that. They should offer one where they have all the separate story modes, like in different episodes, that you can choose which episode you want to pick over time, so if you don't want to really, like, go for a full, like, $60 story mode or a $30 one, you could just buy a $4 one or a $10 one or whatever they're charging at the time, and then you have a complete package. And I feel like that should have been at day one, but I guess I could see it, like, over time, people get more excited, like, you're playing the game, you beat the story, then you have nothing to do, you come back a month later, you play it, you beat it, and it always gets you coming back to the game, and that really kind of ties into this next one. Microtransactions. The game has microtransactions, definitely not as bad as some other games, of course, though I don't really think they should do it. I mean, at a certain point, I would like it if they would charge like 30 to, hopefully not 60, but like $30 to $60 at the max. And that it actually would have much more content than ARMS, I think, at least. Even though ARMS is a fighting game, it could have had a better story mode. And Ninjala has such great gameplay, it's all these modes and stuff. They added more modes, if they added a hub world, and they added the full story mode, I would be okay charging like $40 for this, because it would be a full experience, and all this would kind of allow Nintendo to potentially have an entirely new IP in the same vein as ARMS or Splatoon, but with different mechanics. That would truly be an amazing experience, and it would really position themselves towards that new kind of hip style that they've been leaning towards with ARMS and Splatoon. But it's a free-to-play game, and for the content you're getting here, I don't see any reason why not to pick this game up. So, all in all, it is a great game. It's truly a fun thing, and for free, I mean, you can't really get better than that. Though, I do wish it was positioned more like a full experience, and then you could have, like, this huge deal. It could be this big deal. It just would have been cool, I think. One last note I would like to touch up on is this could actually be, if it was more of a full-priced game, I think, it could have been a Smash Bros. DLC fighter, and I think that really would fit in well with what they're doing. They already have ARMS, they already have Splatoon. If they had Ninjala as like this third pillar, it kind of represents a new Nintendo. If you have those three brand new IPs that are both focused on like kind of the same art style, they each have their own creativity around them, and they all are truly, I think, great games. ARMS may be a little light in content, and Ninjala around a little similar to Splatoon, but I definitely think they're different enough to each have their own merits. So, that's what I think at least. Let me know what you think.